While Africa may be the oldest inhabited continent on Earth, it still lags behind the others in terms of infrastructure. To compensate for that, it has a huge number of attractions that make it worth all the frustrations that tourists can feel from time to time as they travel around. Where else in the world are there vast plains where wild animals roam free? The stunning coastline, especially on the Indian Ocean side, has mile after mile of beautiful beach with the warm crystal waters very enticing. Inevitably, such a vast continent with several degrees of latitude either side of the equator has a huge variety. The northern coastline is the Mediterranean and Arabic, while the southern tip is where the Indian Ocean meets the Atlantic water coming straight up from the Antarctic. That water does not warm up significantly until it approaches the equator on Africa's west coast. In contrast, Asia, with the largest continental population of all and certainly an even longer coastline, can boast the most impressive mountain range in the world, the Himalayas, a huge variety of climates and cuisines that have spread all over the world. Asia has made more impact on the rest of the world than Africa, which is still a place where exploration proved extremely difficult, and even today, the influence of the world's most powerful nations in 21st century life are patchy. For some travelers, that is part of Africa's charm and one of the reasons why it is a destination well worth visiting. Geography. Asia. Asia is the largest continent in the world with a massive 44.58 million kilometers square landmass and has a total of 48 countries according to the United Nations. Africa. Africa, on the other hand, is the second largest continent at 30.37 million kilometers square and comprises 54 countries. Those countries include a number of different tribes, at times even within a single nation, and a vast array of languages and dialects within a single country. Some of today's national boundaries were made for colonial convenience rather than the reality of the traditional tribal areas. That strategy alone has created untold problems over the years. Typical weather. Asia. The weather in Asia is as diverse as the size of its landmass. While it is difficult to generalize and weather systems seem less predictable than in years gone by, monsoons are the single biggest climatic factor in much of Asia. Some countries actually experience differing monsoons in different parts of the country. Countries like the Philippines, Thailand, East Timor, Indonesia, Singapore and parts of India have a tropical climate with dry and wet seasons. In contrast, others have 4 distinct seasons with huge variations when altitude becomes a factor, such as Korea and Japan. It is worth remembering that most of Asia lies in the northern hemisphere, unlike Africa, which straddles the equator. Africa. The Mediterranean in the north and South Africa in the south have what is commonly described as a Mediterranean climate, never very cold but neither extremely hot. The sea influence moderates temperatures around the year. In between, there is the vast Sahara Desert, the Sahel, which is susceptible to drought, in the equatorial region with significant annual rainfall and dense forest in many countries. Further south is the region where the wildlife attracts huge tourist numbers each year. There is certainly a rainy season here, and migrating herds follow the rains in search of good grazing every year. It is never cold by day here at any time of the year, but it can be extremely hot either side of midday. The result is many of the animals seek shade, with the prey species safe from lions etc., who sleep by day and hunt by night. So, what is your idea on this? Just write it in comment. For me, Africa and Asia looks the same on one hand, in other hand Asia is different on climate. Asia is cold most and Africa is hot, but they both experience all climates. Asians are the brothers. Please, if you liked the video, make sure hit the red button down. Love and peace.